What is up, MMA fans? This is Tudolonte for Sherdog.com. And today I have the pleasure to talk with UFC veteran and now bare-knuckle boxing fighter, Mr. Jimmie Rivera. Hello, Jimmy. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine as well. Thank you very much. I noticed that you celebrated your daughter's first birthday a few days ago. May I ask you, what did you do?
We just had a huge barbecue. We had, friends and family over and just hung out and ate and, just chilled, relax.
How has your life changed since having your first daughter?
More responsibilities, a lot more. You got to take care of a little child. I mean, she made it to one, so I think we're doing good so far.
Of course. Do you manage to sleep at night?
As much as I can, yeah. My wife got onto this sleep training schedule, so believe it or not, my kid goes to bed by 6:37 and wakes up 6:37 next day, so it's pretty good. Yeah, so it's just me making sure I fall asleep earlier enough, because sometimes I'll notice all the time, like, oh, I need to go to sleep because my kid's waking up. But I guess as an adult, as you get older and you have kids, you need less and less sleep to function.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's a very, very good answer. Listen, we're speaking today since you're scheduled to face Howard Davis in the upcoming BKFC 26 on June the 24th. My first question for you is, are you still training at Team Tiger Schulmann, right?
Yeah, I am.
Listen, this is the first time that I'm actually interviewing a bare-knuckle boxing fighter. How do you prepare for a bare-knuckle fight?
A lot of boxing, a lot of working on your hands, whether it's punching, hitting the bag, also learning how to hit the bag without using gloves, using maybe a pair of wraps and stuff like that, with the mitts too. And then I think one of the biggest thing is that, unlike MMA where you can kind of swing, you have to really pick your shots. You can end up with a broken hand really easily, hitting someone on top of the head. So there's a couple little things there, but the primary thing I'm doing is just boxing, just because that's what I'm going to be doing. So it's been a lot easier to focus on one art form, martial arts art form, compared to like 5 when you get ready for MMA fight. Getting ready for MMA fight, you have wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, all that. Now I just focus on boxing, and it's it's fun. It's a little more, a little less pressure, and I can really enjoy and get really good at one instead of trying to get really good at 5. You try to juggle 5 things, you're never going to be 100% at all of them. So to be able to juggle one thing like boxing is a huge difference, and I enjoy it a lot.
During your sparring sessions, do you manage to keep your instinct at bay, and I don't know, when you see the chance not to shoot for a takedown and not to kick your opponent, how do you manage to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I do it pretty well. We've been doing all our rounds in a boxing ring with shoes on, and no shin guards, so it ends up working out well. So I don't have to worry about, because no one wants to kick without a shin guard, and no one wants to get hit without a shin guard. But it's been pretty well. I mean, I didn't have a huge problem with it because we always, as part of being Team Tiger Schulmann and us training together with Tiger Schulmann, Ron Schulman, Ray Velez, we always went to boxing gyms and just box and just focus on one art form, and then we would put it all together at the end of the week. So it's been really easy. It hasn't been any huge difference of that. I think just the transition of, the distance and how you got to make sure your fist is closed, and it's a little different because you're using bare fist and you are using an MMA glove that has some cushion on it.
And of course, I'm imagining here that sparring sessions are pretty different, than the real fight. Okay, we can say that's the same for MMA fights, but still you can spar with 4-ounce gloves, while I guess here that you aren't sparring with bare-knuckle.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. We're not sparring with bare-knuckle. That's right. I mean, literally, it's just focus on wearing more like the MMA gloves, the practice gloves to spar in, drilling with those, and just getting used. Even with the bag gloves, getting small bag gloves, like 6-ounce bag gloves, because it's that cushion that makes a huge difference when you're punching, and the distance. You know what I mean? You have, boxing gloves or even MMA gloves. You have some cushion there where your bare knuckle, you don't. So the distance isn't going to be a little bit off. So it's a huge thing to understand that. So besides that, yeah, just really focus on that. I mean, you obviously can't do bare knuckle and spar each other bare knuckle and think you're going to be fine the next day.
No, of course, of course. I imagine that. What do you expect from this fight and from your bare knuckle boxing debut?
Well, I'm hoping, obviously to get the win. I'm looking forward to it. I'm been training for it. I'm looking just to get back into the ring in general. We've been working on it, and as a free agent, it took a little while, but we were working on just getting back in there and fight. Unfortunately, I was supposed to fight in February with Triller, but the event got canceled because of COVID, and then my opponent fell through in May. So, it's just been one of those, uphill battles where, either a fight gets canceled or I can't get a fight. When I was a free agent, it took a while to get something in the works. So it was just one of those things that took a little while. It was a little frustrating. And at the same time, I'm like, training for fights and then keep falling through. But now with my debut, I'm looking forward. I can't wait just to get back in there. And then I can't wait. The 145 belt is vacant. So get in there, get a win, and maybe you'll get a title shot or one more fight and get a title shot. I'm looking forward to that.
You mentioned your free agency. I was actually, about to ask you, about your decision to transition from MMA to bare knuckle. Your latest MMA fight saw you taking on Pedro Munhoz. It was quite a fight. It won the Fight of the Night bonus. But what happened next?
I was a free agent after that, and I wanted to explore what other people had to offer. And then we just kind of sat down and kind of like laid out the cards and see what was the best bet and what I would want to do the most and what was going to benefit me. And actually at the top of it was bare knuckle with what they were offering me, able to have some freedom to fight in other organizations as well. How they treated me and stuff like that, they giving me a plan coming in, not having to worry about fighting 5 or 6 fights, going 5 or 6-0 before I could fight for the belt. Like it was definitely, meeting with, Dave Feldman and with the guys from Bare Knuckle and speaking to them, and my manager handling all the negotiations, stuff like that. It was definitely easy. It was worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, I also want to be a champ in other organizations, but at the same time, I want to take care of my family, financially. So if, they're going to offer the most amount of money, it's one of the things I have to take it. I don't think fighting bare knuckle I don't think there's a difference of, in my head, a big much of fighting from, bare knuckle boxing, like the violence of it, like bare knuckle boxing compared to like MMA. I see like the advantages are, it's like in MMA, you have to focus on 5 different things. I just got to focus on boxing. With MMA, it's a little harder to get cut. With here, it's a lot easier to get cut because there's no cushions on your hands and stuff. You can hurt your hands a little bit more in this instead of MMA. But at the same time, too, I've been in MMA fights where I've gotten kicked in the head, especially with the Peter Yan fight, took a nice shin to the face. I think getting kicked in the head is worse than getting punched in the face. So with that said, weighing out the physical part, the financial part is they offered me a very good deal and I couldn't say no to it, especially thinking with my family and having to take care of them. So, that's where I went to.
May I ask you a comparison between your MMA purse and bare knuckle boxing purse?
It's a lot more. It's about 40 to 50% increase, which is important for someone that fights. So it's a lot more, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the guys at Bare Knuckle are great. Dave, I've sat down with him in Orlando when we had the fight fall through, and the biggest concern of mine is just keeping me busy, keeping me going. So we talked briefly, had a good conversation. I went to the fights that night, got hyped watching the fights. I was looking forward to June 24th. And besides that, I let my manager handle everything else. Really, my main focus is just training and getting ready for this opponent coming up June 24th in Hollywood, Florida for Bare Knuckle.
As it should be. Did the UFC attempt to keep you? Did they offer you, a more remunerative contract?
Not really. Like, not really a great, like it wasn't anything like, all right, do I want to stay here or do I want to see what's out there kind of deal? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well, let's see what's out there. Let's do free agent, see what other deals we could get instead of staying with the UFC. Nothing against the UFC. There was no bridges burned or anything like that. But I wanted to see, I've been in the game for a while. I want to see if there was, if the grass was green on the other side. And it was, I got a really good deal from Bare-Knuckle, and I'm really excited about it. And again, I couldn't say no to it. I thought it was, you sit down financially, look at it, it makes the most sense. And so with the UFC, we just kind of left in good terms. Didn't know, no, I've never burned bridges. There was nothing, any hurtful or mean things to say. We're like, all right, no problem. We want to experience free agency a little bit, and we did. And it was definitely worth it.
Do you see yourself competing in bare-knuckle boxing for next year as well in 2023?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I want to try and get as many fights as I can. I'm hoping, this year I could get, after this fight, maybe two more fights. 3 would be pushing it, but I'll try to get it. I want to get fights as often as I can. I want to stay busy. I don't like being inactive. I mean, I know I've been active before the Pedro fight with an injury and COVID and all that, but this time now I want to get in there and, I want to fight more. And I'm just looking forward to get back into this and then get another fight right away after.
And you haven't closed any doors to your MMA career, right?
None, not at all. All my doors are open. Me and my manager even spoke about doing bare-knuckle, maybe doing something else as well. He's, he's dealing with all the contract with that where, they do let you do other things, whether it's Triller or maybe an MMA fight, whatever it is. And I let him handle all that. I just told him the biggest option is I want to keep it fighting. I want to keep it going. And that's something we all agreed upon. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Definitely not close the MMA door. I haven't been focusing as much because of the boxing. But after this fight, I look back to getting a little bit more MMA training than just straight boxing training.
And would you like to test yourself in traditional boxing as well, right? You keep mentioning Thriller. I'm guessing here you would like to, to try again boxing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely look forward to another bare-knuckle fight after this one. Maybe even get into boxing a little bit. I think right now I just have to focus on this one fight. And I think I have a lot to show and a lot to prove. And I think going in there, I could do that, especially, a lot of these guys that fight MMA are not the best boxers. And I come with a boxing background. So I'm looking forward to getting in there and fighting because I do have that background. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not like most MMA fighters who, rely on their wrestling or their kicking. I could box as well. So I think I just want to get in there and get in there and make some noise. And then from there, after the fight, kind of figure out, or that fight week, figure out what's the next step. What am I going to say on the mic? What am I going to shout out? What's my promo? What am I going to do after the fight for my next fight? Is it going to be MMA? Like there's a lot there. So I haven't really opened up that envelope and say, all right, what's next? Kind of just focus on this one first. And then from there, kind of sit down with my manager and game plan what's going to be next.
Have you already thought about your walkout song?
My walkout song?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or change it. I'm up in the air. New organization, maybe something new. I'm not sure yet.
And may I ask your options, even, just the names of the artists?
Well, I did move into the sticks. I do live in the country now. I love it. I have no neighbors. I literally live in the middle of the woods. So I was thinking some country music, maybe some Brantley Gilbert or something like that. I do like my Spanish music though too, my reggaeton. So I'm not sure. I'm up in the air. You know what I mean? It's going to be kind of a decision maker, I guess, that week. When I speak to whoever handles music, they go or bare-knuckle and say, "All right, what are you coming out to?" I'm like, kind of roll the dice and maybe see. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. Sir, since we are recording this interview on Memorial Day, would you like to share a message?
Oh, of course. I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that. So I want to thank you to all the men and women who serve this country, especially the ones that gave their lives. I mean, at the end of the day, we get to have this freedom and get to enjoy our lifestyle because you sacrifice so much. So thank you to all the men and women. Thank you to the people who are still serving now. I mean, it's a huge, huge appreciation of what you guys have done and what the people gave that are not with us no longer. And, you know, can't say it more enough than thank you and appreciate your sacrifice and everything you do for this country, especially, you know, I think about now with my little girl, you know, I praise them even more. You know, when you have kids, you know, life changes a little bit when you think about stuff. And I was always grateful for the military, but even more grateful that my daughter can grow up and understand this and appreciate, you know, and if she ever wants to do it and get in the military, I have her full 100%. She's got my back in because, you know, these men and women give so much and do so much. So thank you to them.
I think this is the perfect way to wrap up this interview, unless you want to add anything else.
No, I think you're good, man. We'll cut it like that. That's good. No, definitely.
Sir, thank you very much for giving me a bit of your time today. Best of luck with your bare-knuckle boxing debut, and hopefully I will hear again from you in the future.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks a lot for having me on the show, and happy Memorial Day, and thank you to all the veterans. I really appreciate it. And thank you, man. I appreciate you having me and us discussing and talking.
Thank you again. Best of luck. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too.